This new week brought along volatility in the stock market because investors were concerned that maybe the Fed would increase interest rates, and all of a sudden they were selling stock, and that led to a dip in the market and then a rise in the market, and the volatility continues. Now, whether or not you believe we should be concerned about that is one part of the story, but what I feel is incredibly interesting is what Trump's response to this volatility has been. Now, keep in mind that Trump has been boastful about the stock market. In fact, he keeps talking about how the economy is doing well, and usually when he says that, he's focusing primarily on how well stocks are doing. So when the stock market took a dip, we didn't really hear much from him. Now, the market has rebounded since then. However, Trump didn't really say anything until that rebound happened, and here's what his tweet indicated. In the old days, when good news was reported, the stock market would go up. Today, when good news is reported, the stock market goes down. Big mistake, and we have so much good, in parentheses, great, news about the economy. Okay, so what's interesting is, no, it's not interesting because he's always wrong. But usually when joblessness is down, the unemployment rate is down, and when wages start to increase, even if it's a little bit, investors get very nervous, and that's usually when they will sell some of the stock that they have and protect some of their earnings. And the reason why they do that is because the Fed might come in and raise interest rates in order to mitigate inflation. And so, no, the stock market, yes, is tied to the real economy, which is jobs and wages. But overall, when jobs and wages do well, investors get panicky.
Right, there are a lot of levers on the economy, and the economy is obviously a complex machine. And a lot of the volatility here looks like it was almost reflecting some kind of program trading, because you're seeing rises and falls of 600 points. But Anna makes a very important point, and it's this, and you're going to see more of it. And that's why it's important to keep it in mind. The more that money supply is increased, the more our deficit runs high, and now $1 trillion projected on this latest budget, the more money flows into the system, the more inflation is likely to be produced. And to try to mitigate that, as Anna says, that interest rate rise, and the stock market hates that interest rate rise. One of the reasons we've had this incredible run is because interest rates are virtually zero. And so they're giving away this money. This is a problem that we're going to see more of. And by the way, there are many investors and economists who thought we were going to see that way before. But now it seems unquestionable that this is going to be an issue because there's just so much more money entering the system.
Right, and also I wanted to make a quick comment in regard to wage increases, because if you look at wages overall, yes, there has been a small increase in wages, but to credit Trump for that is, it's not right. And what I mean by that is the reason why these businesses are increasing wages is not because of the tax cuts on the wealthy. They're doing it because there are a lot less people who are looking for jobs at the moment. So there's more competition among these companies to find employees. And in order to attract employees, what do? They increase wages. And it certainly has not kept up with inflation. So to say like, oh, the wages are doing great is wrong. You still have people in America who are working full-time jobs and they still can't afford to put food on the table for their kids. We're still subsidizing some of these corporations because they refuse to pay their employees a decent living wage. But there are all sorts of things happening to the economy. And what you see with Trump is that he will cherry pick things that work to his benefit. And for a while, he was very boastful about the stock market, and now all of a sudden you see that volatility, and he is responding to it in a way that really reveals his ignorance.
Well, exactly, and it's a one-dimensional way, which is exactly what this president is. He's a one-dimensional guy. He doesn't have an interest and intellectual curiosity in any way, and so yeah, the stock market's an easy thing to respond to. He can read the numbers, see that it's up that far, just like he can look at his portfolio and see that now that very corrupt portfolio, I might add, now is up that much, and he can respond. So in this case, the Dow is up, take credit. Dow's up again, take credit. Dow's down, I can't believe it's down. How can, and he puts out that ridiculous tweet. He is he's so manifestly incompetent and unable to understand this stuff. And he doesn't desire to understand. He just wants to message. So yeah, one-dimensional tweet from a one-dimensional guy.
You just watched the video by the Young Turks, home of the revolution. If you'd like to get a lot more than that, get the full show by becoming a member. TYTnetwork.com/join.